Hello everyone, this is Gayle, and this is our final process. I don't know that I'll get everything covered today, but I will at least show you the beginning. But this is going to be the final part to our quilt canes, our quilt canes. And I wanted to show you that I have rolled out some black and white clay on the #1 setting of the pasta machine and stacked them. And I think I'm going to cut this in half. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 inches, so I'll cut it at 2 inches. And stack it to make a stripe cane. Just make sure that there's no air, anywhere in your stacks. I felt some air. Let me just poke it with a pin. And push it out. Okay, so there is our stripe cane. We've got 2 black and 2 white stripes. Now I'm just going to lay this aside for a minute. And here's my paper. I'm going to lay this aside. And I've got 2 other clays rolled out. I have, this is Primo Fuchsia, and it is rolled out to the #3 setting, or the 3rd thickest setting. And I've got 2 very thin sheets of black. And this is on, my machine goes up to #9, I believe. Yes, mine goes up to #9, and this is rolled out to the #7. So it's a very, very thin sheet. But what I'm going to do, oh, by the way, this is called a zipper cane. So if you already know how to make a zipper cane, this may be a little redundant for you. See a cat hair? And I'm going to lay this on top of the fuchsia. And they're rolled out to the same size, but it doesn't mean they'll end up being the same. And I'm going to roll this with a roller just because it's so thin. Help lay it down. Also helps keep the air out. Then I'm going to flip this over. And I'm going to put another very thin sheet of black on top of that. And I'm trying to line them up as best as I can because I don't want to, we're going to need a lot because we've got several canes to cover. But at least I've used colors that I can duplicate if I need to make more. Alright, so there is my 2 colors. Let me trim up this edge just so you can see what they look like. See, it's very thin black and then the pink. So I'm going to set this, well, I'm not going to set it aside. I'm going to move that over, and I'm going to bring my stripe cane back over. And let's see, I cut this at 2. I may have to lose about ½ an inch of that because this is only at 3½. I was thinking I would cut this in half. 1, 2, 3.5. Wonder if I could stretch this out just a little bit to make it 4 inches. I don't think rolling it, the pasta machine's back on the thickest setting. And I don't think, well, that did get it out there. Almost to 4 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half. At 2 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice this, and I should have waited. I'll get myself together in a minute. This has been a crazy day. But I'm going to slice this. And try to maintain the same thickness on all my slices. Now I could have cut this in half and stacked it to make a wider strip of striped cane, but I have found that when I do that, I lose control of the straightness of my pieces, and they end up being a little wavy looking instead of being nice and even. So I'm just going to go with the smaller stack. Let's see if that doesn't make it easier. Like I said, if you prefer, you can cut this in half and stack it, and then you would have 8 stripes as opposed to 4. That is entirely up to you. And if you have a problem cutting even slices, I'm going to show you something else we can do at the end. Well, not at the end, but after I finish slicing, which will help you. I don't know how much of this I'm going to need. Let me just put this aside, and I'll come back if I need more. But with my pasta machine set at the thickest setting, I'm going to run them through, and I'm going to run them through this way so that it does not distort the square, the straightness. And that way they'll all be the same thickness. And you'll see some of them are getting longer than others, and it's because looks like I was getting progressively thicker on my slices. But this way they'll all be the same thickness. And they may curve a little bit, but you can fix that as you're putting them on your project. Okay, so now I'm going to bring back my other cane. I'll just bring in one. And I'm going to take them and I'm just going to lay them out here, and I'm going to try to lay them straight. And be sure you butt your white up against the black because you want this to be a stripe. Now you know they're all the same thickness, so you don't have to worry about that. And you can probably see I'm putting the curved end up at the top. This got a little, you can always straighten it up with your blade. And just do this until you've totally covered the top of your blade, the top of your other blend. I'll get the words out in a minute. Tell you, getting old is not fun. You get your words all mixed up. Okay, so then I'm going to even that up, and when I do, I'm going to slice off the excess of the colored cane. Going to turn it over. So I can cut this straight. I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to put this on top. I think I've cut too many. I'm going to lay this on top. And that is a zipper cane. Now I'm going to need to make two and make more of these because this is not going to be enough, but I am going to take this the way it is. I'm going to pinch the end just a little bit because I'm going to run this through the pasta machine at the thickest setting. See how that widened out the white and the black? But you've got your pink on either side. And we're going to use this to wrap our canes. And I'm going to save this for the next one that I make, because like I said, I'm going to have to make two in order to cover all of our canes. Now it's entirely up to you whether you want to roll it through, put it through the pasta machine like I did. I don't mind the wide black and white. I think it's going to add some interest, but let me show you what it's going to look like on one of our canes. And let's do this one. And I'm going to cut maybe half of this. Yeah, about half. And I'll save the other half in case I want to do something else with it. And I'm going to lay this up against the straight side. And I'm going to pull it so that it's up tight up in this corner. And I'm going to turn it. Pinch this corner to make it straight. Do it again. Keep pulling it tight so that you have a nice sharp corner. then trim off your edges. I didn't do this right. I should have come up over the end of that to cut off the color. Because I want this to be black, a black corner. But you can just pull the black up over. See, no one would ever know. But make sure your corners are straight. And then trim off. And I'm going to use my X-Acto knife only because my blade is not very sharp. And I can do smaller pieces with this than I can once I get started. I can go flip back over to my blade. But I'm thinking I don't like the wide. We'll see. Maybe that'll be okay. I'll give it an interesting edge. All we needed to do is to make an edge for our cane. And I'll put this edge around all of them. And I don't mind the wide black and white. If you like the stripes better just this way, this would be wide. If this would be thicker, of course, or you could somehow make this thinner, run it through the pasta machine a little bit thinner, and make your stripes closer together. But I think I kind of like this. It's different. Let me get the other end. I'll just stick with my knife. So this is what's going to bring all of our cane slices together so that they look like they go together. And I'm wondering, I don't have a thin sheet of white, but let me see what happens if I put white up around it. That makes an interesting thing, but I think I'm going to leave this just the way it is. And I'm going to do the same thing with our other canes. We've got 5, so I'm going to have to make another, at least one more of these, maybe even more than that. Excuse me. And I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll be back. These are the finished squares, which I really like, but if I was going to show you how to do a zipper cane, this would not have been a good example because I rolled it through and made the white and the black a lot wider. I made another, I'm making another zipper cane. But this time, when I made the black and white stripe, and then I sliced it, when I put it on here, I rolled it down to a number 3, just to make it a little bit thinner. Let me turn it over, and I laid one layer on one of my sandwiches. When I say sandwich, I mean the pink and the fuchsia and black. And I'm just going to trim this off. I might hold on to that in case I need it for something. There's an air bubble. Actually, there's a couple. I was trying to rush to get this done so I could turn the camera back on. Well, let me trim this off. Then I will lay my other sandwich on top of the stripes. And I have another sandwich that looks like that. I like that better. And this time, instead of rolling it through the pasta machine, last time I turned it this way and rolled it through, but I think I'm going to roll it this way through so that these will keep their same proportion and won't get stretched out. So let me see. Excuse my phone ringing. But I wanted to show you rolling it that way. See, this is the first one we did that I rolled through long ways. And see how wide the white and the black got? This is it rolling it through the other way, rolling it through this way. And these kept their proportion. And this is what the zipper cane really looks like. So I didn't want to say I was teaching you how to do a zipper cane and then mess it up. So I wanted to do another one. So what I'm going to do now is wrap these canes this way. And it's not very wide, so I'm going to have to do it in slices. But see the difference in this one and this one. Even though I like this, I like the way this turned out, and that's probably the one I'm going to use. I will do one. Well, let me just do that now. I'll just. But this is just another option. You can do whichever one you like. Now this has gotten a little bit long, so what I may do is go ahead and publish this one and then publish another one with actually putting the project together. What I thought I would do, I've had several projects in mind. I thought about covering a box, and then I thought, well, not everybody has a box to cover. So then I thought about other things, but what I think I settled on is to take one quilt block from each design and make a bracelet, turn it into a bracelet. So what we'll have if you can just vision these as tiles, I'll probably put this one over here and then the blue one. But I think this would make a great gift for a quilter. So I'm going to go ahead and end this part of the video so that we're not having a 2-hour video. And I'm not going to cover the rest of these with the smaller. I just wanted to show you the difference in the two so that you can do whichever one you like. I'm going to use the one with the wide stripes only because I've already covered all of them, and I kind of like that. It kind of makes it look more like a fabric, whereas this looks more like clay. But we'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video, and I will do another video that will be published at the same time. It'll be like a part 1 and a part 2. So this will end part 1, so stay tuned for part 2 coming soon.